about the different elements of this poster, and that is the 8 elements of a successful nutritional program. We're also going to be trying to avoid, as we said earlier, the white flour or enriched flour. Those type of things are just, you know, they're such a simple a carbohydrate. You know, again, whole grain wheat has 150 nutrients in it, and if it's white flour or again the enriched, they've basically taken 150 nutrients out, put 5 back in. That's what they call enriched. So those type of foods, you know, your pizza doughs and your cookies and just Wonder Bread, or most even the wheat bread that you buy at the store, you'll notice it's enriched wheat flours, and usually is the first ingredient, and then you might have some whole grain later on down the line. You got to need, that's what we talk about reading labels. You read the box, you know, whether it's cereals or on the cover of on the bag of a bread, and it says whole grain. Well, where is that whole grain? You have to look in the ingredients, because a lot of time it's the enriched flour up front, and then the whole grain flour is like 5 or 6 down. Why? Because the whole grain flour costs some more money, to where the enriched flour is cheaper. But because it has whole grain, they can put that on the box. So buyer beware, guys. They will truly lie to you when it comes to the foods in your supermarket. As Dr. Kroll says, let's bulldoze the middle of the supermarket, because honestly we should only be eating the fresh fruits, the fresh vegetables, the fresh dairy on the outer range of the supermarket. Anything that can sit in a box, bag, can over days and weeks and years on end, for the most part, and of course not everything, but for the most part, is things you don't want to be eating. Also, we want to be, talk about counting sugar grams. You look at a product, whether it's a protein bar or a cereal or whatever, you need to look at the sugar grams. I always, feel that honestly, I'll take a little bit more fat over a little bit more sugar. Because again, fat, even though fat is high calorie, and you got to watch that, you got to watch your saturated fat. I'm not saying you don't, but all fats aren't made the same, and pretty much sugar, and it's where the sugar comes from, and how much of the product is sugar that counts. So if you have a product that has a lot of sugar, 10, 20 grams of sugar in it, you've got to be careful about that product. It's going to, again, the high glycemic product that's going to, get that insulin to fly up, and then of course you're going to have the crash, which makes it hard to work out, but also it's going to turn into fat relatively quickly. So avoiding sugar at all costs, I always say. And again, don't be fooled by advertisers. As I said earlier, they lie to you. I mean, it's funny because it wasn't that long ago you could go to a fast food restaurant and they'd have a salad bar. Well, they took them out. Why? Because no one was eating it. Now they just lie to you and say that the stuff is healthy. So you got to be careful. I mean, there was a big company not too long ago at the beginning of the year was saying their fast food takeout was a part of some type of weight loss program. It's just ridiculous. And again, it costs them money to create products that really are of health and really do help reduce fat. And if they can find any way around not having to produce that product but convincing you that it's still healthy, they're going to do so. So you really, really have to read your ingredients. And as I always say, buyer beware, especially at the supermarket. As you walk down those aisles, they always have those catchphrases, of course, no hydrogenated oils or no trans fat oils. And then you look down and they've replaced the trans fat with saturated fat, which is just as bad. So you need to really be careful and read your labels. Don't let fat-free food fool you. It's not as big an issue as it used to be. It wasn't that long ago that people thought, well, if it's fat-free, hey, I can eat as much as you want. It wasn't. Remember that Seinfeld episodes? For those of you guys over 40, remember Seinfeld, where they had an episode where they were eating fat-free ice cream and wondering why they continued to gain weight. Well, the point being is, as we all know now, fat really isn't what causes a lot of the weight gain as much as the sugar. So a lot of products, you take the fat out, replace the fat with sugar. And again, the sugar turns to energy immediately in your body. And if you're not going to go take off and run those 2 miles to burn that sugar, it's going to go right to stored fat. And then, of course, drinking low-fat or skim milk. I endorse the Legacy Fit product, and they require skim milk, and I drink that product almost every day. So I do consume skim milk, because one thing about skim milk, or any milk, is if they pull the fat out, they don't add the sugar to make up for it. They just pull the fat out. So I like milk. I consume it. It does, 7 grams of sugar, but it's more of a natural sugar. Sugar, but still, it's not too off the chart when it comes to the sugar. So I hope these little tips will help you. And again, if you'd like to have this poster to remind you of how to eat the UBC way, you can pick one of these up. Again, if you're a member of the UBC online, you can download this at no cost. Or if you are, not a member but would like to have one, go to our store, make a purchase of $25 or more, and we're going to send one of these posters to you for free. All right, this is Jim Graden. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Inside the UBC.